Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Friday Fandemonium. Just waiting for my lame-ass audio check to kick in on the, we'll see. And Jacob will be along soon. He is aware of Eastern Standard Time this week. Let's just see. Okay, audio is good. So our plan today, I do have a little unboxing. You know what it is if you watch Jacob's Tuesday stream. I will show off. I can't. I show some Winter Sun stuff. Something. Jacob. I think Jacob just appeared in his final form. Well, you'd think his final form would be a giant, like raccoon Terminator or some sort, but.
What up? Am I coming through?
Yeah, you sound good.
All right.
How's South treating you this week?
How's the what? I'm sorry.
How's the South? How's the American South down there treating you this week? Is it too hot or?
It's actually cooled down. It's now in the lower 90s.
Oh, okay.
It's 91 right now. Not 100. Last week it was 101 and felt like 113.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We had a couple hot days too, like in the mid to high upper 90s, and then some thunderstorms hit and it dropped down to the 70s now. So maybe it was a national trend, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. 5:02. We'll chit chat for a couple minutes. I do have a little unboxing. As I said before you got here, anyone who watched our show on Tuesday night knows what's in this package. But we'll see. And then what else? Got a few articles to discuss. We did pick a filmography last night on Roman's show, but I forgot who we picked, so we'll have to try to brainstorm on that one.
Oh darn it! Who was it?
Yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else, we can just we'll come up with someone. Yeah, we'll come up with someone, and then a few articles. That's about it. I mean, holiday weekend here in the U.S., Labor Day. That's funny story for you. I was working on Thursday, right, and I'm like talking about my coworker, and she's like, "Matt, you know Monday's a holiday, right?" And I'm like, "What?" That's how oblivious I was. You know, I'm like, so I just put in for my 4-day. I put in for a 4-day weekend. You know, and then pretty much that. And okay, so we can do the unboxing now because it's 5:03 people. So, and the awesome Amazon package. Now I got these. I was going to buy the one book, but I was like, wait a minute, 3 of them for the price of one because it's 50% off. Who wouldn't take that deal? You know. So we reviewed Awakenings. Well, I turned it back. Should turn the background off so you can see what I'm holding up. Right. Settings. Virtual background on. So we reviewed the movie Awakenings with Robin Williams and Robert De Niro, but based on a book by Oliver Sacks called Awakenings, which is a case study of these patients from the movie, right? And then his book Hallucinations, and of course his book The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. So these seem like they'll be decent reads, you know. That's the one unboxing I got this week. There might be some comics next week, or might not. I'll have to see how it goes. If I have time to do my order. What else? And so let's just get right into.
Sam Raimi was the director.
Yeah, Sam Raimi. Good. Thank God for remembering, Jacob. So Sam Raimi. We'll do that after we do some articles. So here's starting with a little bit different. We'll start with this. Now, if Jacob, you have any articles you want to talk about too, let me know. Yeah. So this is a sciencey thing, but it also ties into a lot of non-sciencey stuff. So they've been looking. Let's start this way. The way they detect planets in the solar system is by the effects of gravity. One of two ways, really. Either one way is if the planet occludes something should be there, like
Mhm.
if you see something there but disappears at a regular time, that has to be an object orbiting between it in the solar system, right? But the other way they detect these
Right.
planets is through gravity. So if you see something that's being disturbed and it's at a great distance, the only thing that can be doing it is gravity, right? So, or again, explosion will be dead from
Right.
that. So, yeah. So they've been looking for.
Yeah.
So okay. So we used to have 9 planets. Then they deplanetized Pluto about 10 or 15 years ago, I think it was. Then they
For
made
Pluto.
Pluto a dwarf planet, right? Uh, and then, but there's several problems, right? They have detected multiple gravitational disturbances in the further out than Pluto in what we would call the Oort cloud. So something is moving stuff around,
Mm.
something or things. So that's indicative of a planet, right? And then
Mhm.
there's been all sorts of. Now, I'm be careful how I say this. I guess you would say mythology and uh, pseudoscience about like Nibiru and all the planets, right? All the secret planets in the whole
Right.
solar system. But the thing about that stuff is, obviously, there's not Nibiru with like giant reptile aliens or whatever is living on Nibiru, but ancient observational astronomers, which were astrologers, did pick up on stuff. Like, for example, for those who don't know this, I mean, the Great Pyramids in Giza line up almost perfectly with Orion's belt, you know,
Right.
and they've detected patterns with other pyramids in Egypt that appear to correspond to other parts of the constellation Orion. So, you know, uh, then there's this debate. It's 50-50 whether it's real or not, but there's an African tribe which was in great isolation, which had legend of another planet, and actually had a sort of star map. And it turns out that was halfway accurate. So if it was real, they had
Hmm.
good observational astronomy back then and didn't know it.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of that stuff from the ancient times that leak forward and become legends about weird stuff. But then again, we also have scientific stuff like, for example, we know that there have been at least at least 5 mass extinctions due to like comet type impacts, right? The one everyone knows about is the KT
Yeah.
impact, which is the one that killed the dinosaurs. Then there's the Great Dying, the one from the Great Killing, which was the Permian one, which was the biggest mass extinction in the history of the Earth, which is like 300 million years ago. In fact, let's call that up. So we'll give it more accurate here. Earth mass extinctions. Okay, let's see. Extinction. Let's see if it's Wikipedia. Does Wikipedia have a good one? Okay. Okay, this has. I'm trying to find a graph of them. It shows the times. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This should work. Okay, so these have been. So what happens is, prior to even the existence of humanity, 99.99999% of all species that ever lived on the earth have been extinct. Okay, so life is
Mhm.
not less a long time. Like if you have a life of a million species, I think it's like a million years or something like that, for example. And what happens though when they plot all the time periods of those extinctions, there are peaks and valleys and spikes and whatnot. Like this graph here, for example,
Mhm.
you see the little peaks and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big peaks, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
the first thing I'll mention are the big peaks, which are the 5 mass extinctions, which is the I need to make sure there's no one in the chat there yet. Nope. Okay. Uh, the end of the Ordovician, the late Devonian, the end of the Permian, the end of the Triassic, and the end of the Cretaceous, right? So that's these
Right.
400. Let me make this a little bigger. There you go. 444 million years ago, 360, 250, 265, and 360. No, sorry, 250 in the Permian. I think is the big one. No, or maybe it's the one of them is called the Great Dying. My brain says it's the end of the Permian, but maybe it's this end of the Ordovian one, right? So what caused the 5 mass extinctions? You can. I'll put this article out there. And if I remember to update the description, I'll throw this in there. So we know that, right? And then we also know that there's when you examine the data of the mass extinctions, right? You see all the little peaks, people, right? There's been a hypothesis that those little peaks aren't irregular. They're roughly every 24 to 30 million years, right? Which means they're periodic, right? So in that hypothesis, something has to be causing comets to swing our way every 24 to 30 million years, right? And one of the theories about that was that there's a planet or a dwarf star somewhere in what's called the Oort cloud, which is the all the material that wasn't sucked into the sun or the inner planets, or it just floated away but couldn't quite escape the sun's gravity. So there's a massive cloud of cometary debris out there. Now, the reason and that, by the way, is why we need to know about this other planet or planets, because we need to know what's disturbing that stuff and sending doomsday bombs our way. That in my view, you always got to think defensive with this stuff, right? So that's kind of what. Now back to the article here. Sorry, you gonna say something, Jacob?
Well, as a Christian, I don't really believe in the time frame. I think the time frame is off, mainly because I think the Earth was created like Adam. Adam was created a full-grown man. I believe the Earth was created old. If you know what I mean. If you get my meaning.
Well, I get what you're saying, and I don't
I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe that these things have happened to the Earth.
Well, no, let me.
You know what I mean?
So, So I don't think there's any conflict with the universe being 16 to 30 billion years old and someone or some being creating it at all. And when people say, "Well, wait, doesn't the Bible indicate that it's only like 10,000?" Well, if you read the actual Bible, right, time wasn't created in the Bible to after the first day.
Right.
So those first couple days, like the time on Earth is separated based on the sun, essentially, and the sun isn't created. I'll just call. It's easiest to do this. Book of Genesis. Okay, I think this. Here we go. This should do. It's going to be small, but can I make it bigger? Okay. So it says, in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, the whole universe, the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while wind from God swept across the face of the waters. Sounds kind of like an explosion to me, like a Big Bang type thing. Then God said, "Let there be light," kind of like an explosion of light. And then God saw light was good and separated the light from the darkness. And finally, he calls the light day and night. So there's nothing in these first 4 lines that tell you how long that took at all. So and now I'm still kind of agnostic on trying to find my way towards any sort of faith. But I point these things out to people who want to, and it's not just me. Like, for example, I'll give you 3 arguments from science, right, that indicate the universe likely had some engineering involved to it. Okay, always the simplest hypothesis is right. Number one, we know, like scientifically, that the Big Bang happened. We can find the remnant explosion that's the background radiation. We can see the redshifting, every single thing in the universe moving away from everything else. There's other stuff, right? But here's the thing about the Big Bang. It came from what's called a singularity. Now, we know under the reason it exploded is under the laws of physics, any singularity is eventually going to explode. So in our atmosphere, microsingularities explode all the time. It's kind of a funny story. When they first found that out, they thought there were nuclear weapons going off in the atmosphere. But even the biggest black holes have a singularity that they're going to eventually explode. It would just take, for example, the giant black hole at the heart of the Milky Way galaxy might take longer than the universe will ever live to explode. You know what I mean? Like the time frame, right? So, but we know the explosions are going to happen because of the laws of physics say they do, right? Well, we also know that time, space, and matter came into existence after the universe, not not at the time of the universe, right? And we also know that they came to existence because of the laws of physics predated them, right? So we know the laws of physics had to predate the Big Bang, right? So the question is this: if the Big Bang was the beginning of the universe, what made the rules, right?
Yeah.
And that's one argument. And people smarter than me have phrased that argument much better than I have. I'm just being a layman saying it, right? Now there's another argument. This is an argument about coincidences, right? Now let's see if I could find a list of these. List of universal. We'll do this live. I could spell it right. So constants. List of physical constants. This should be it. Okay, so you see this list here, Jacob?
Yeah.
So the one you probably know about is Big G, Newton's constant of gravitation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you know this from the speed of light. It's a little c, right? These are all what are called universal constants, right? They have this value here, right? A precise value that by virtue that's locked into our universe. It can't actually change, right? It's structured into the universe, right? And you could say, well, how did that happen? That's the previous argument. The laws of physics predate the existence of the universe, blah, blah. But here's the thing about these constants, right? There's about, I want to say, what does this have, like 40 of them or whatever, give or take, right? When the physicist explains argument, he said he decided 22 of them, but there's like 40 of them apparently. And if any one of them is slightly different, like for example, if the speed of light was 10% slower, right? Light from the sun would get to Earth on a delayed basis. Would get to 10% slower. Certain electromagnetic radiation would propagate slower, that sort of thing. And so the shape of chemistry on the Earth, which is dictated by the solar input of the sun, would change, right? Because plants use solar energy for food, to make food, right? And likewise, if Big G, the universe is constant of gravitation, what that means is, let me find the formula for you. Newton's gravity formula. Okay, so let's look at an image of it. It's easy. Okay, so here we go. I'll show this tab. So you see this formula, F equals Big G times M1, M2 over R squared, right? So that's a formula that Newton discovered, and Einstein modified it and added what's called a relativistic constant to it. That's complicating things. If you want to find out the force of gravity the force due to gravity between two objects, like say, can you see me here too? I'm on the right view. Let's say this soda bottle and this mouse, right? You want to see what the force due to gravity is between those two. You're going to use that equation, right? And take the mass of each one, put in kilograms and put it in there. You're going to take the distance between them, which is R, the radius, and then put that in there. And you take Newton's gravitational constant, and you're going to calculate, and you'll get a value of the force between the two objects. And that's true for the entire universe. So if you take this soda bottle and the planet and the planet Neptune, you could calculate, it'll be a different value, but the formula would work just the same, so to speak, right? And now, if that Big G is any different, that force due to gravity would change. Well, here's the interesting, right? Even though people have heard of Big G, most people know about little g, right? Which is the 9.8 meters per second squared. That is gravity in the Earth's atmosphere, right? And if you solve that formula, is F equals G times M1 times M2 over R squared for the Earth, which we put the mass of the Earth in there. So you want to count the mass of the Earth and say any object on it. Little g, and if you calculate, like if you multiply Big G by the mass of the Earth, you get little g, basically, the 9.8 meters per second squared. And so now if that Big G were to change, the pressure of gravity on us down would change. And remember, we're maintained by pressure, by the external pressure on our body balanced with our internal pressure, right? So, and our body happens to be maintained at the exact pressure value to maintain the density of water equal to the ocean, right? And that's because we evolved in the ocean, right? So if you change that, all of life on Earth changes. You kind of with me, Jacob? So if Big G becomes like bigger, little g becomes bigger. Therefore, the density of water on the Earth in the polar oceans becomes bigger. Maybe life doesn't evolve, and that's just one constant,
Yeah.
right? So if we go back to where we were over here, right, that's just one of those constants, right? But here's the kicker, and this is the physicist told me: these constants don't exist in isolation, right? They all interact with one another, right? So if you if like to produce the universe where we are, like that we exist in, that like all if all these constants were the same except which one did he say? I'm trying to find it. I think it was something to do with maybe something with the electron radius or something like that. If one of those constants would change, basically, what we call time would happen so much faster we wouldn't even experience life. It would be over in an instant. He was saying. So all these constants have to not only be what they are, but they have to be in that value in proportion to one another, right?
Right.
So going back to the laws of physics predating the universe, or the existence of the universe, that would indicate that not only did they predate the universe, but they were precisely designed to engineer a universe where we could be sitting here observing it right now.
Right.
And so that to that physicist was proof there was a designer. Now the last one, which is new, and is a British mathematician who I'm going to grossly misphrase this. So due to paraphrasing, because the guy is a genius, and I had to actually think about how he said it to even try to understand it, right? So when they discovered evolution, let's say 110 years ago and all, they thought they had the great model for how they produced, life and all that, right? But they didn't know about DNA at the time. So then fast forward like 70 years to the discovery of DNA, and then what we know about DNA is encoded. There are these chemicals, nucleotides, I think they're nucleotides that bond one another. And in our bodies, it's adenine to thionine and guanine to cytosine. And there's like 1 billion or more pairs of those in everyone's DNA, right? But there are other of those chemicals, adenine, thionine. There's actually more than those chemicals. Those are the ones in Earth's DNA, right? So when you analyze DNA from an information science perspective, there's a lot encoded in DNA, right? So then some scientists doing an analysis of if evolution was the means by which modern DNA were produced, how long must and we understanding that our DNA is encoded like coded in an information system. So these were information system scientists doing this analysis. How long, mathematically speaking, must evolution have worked to produce the DNA coding we have now? And when they did this, it was some absurd number, like trillions of years. But the universe is only 13 billion years old. So that's another thing he says indicates that there was some hand in the creation of life or on Earth, that either everything in physics is wrong and the universe is trillions of years old, or something happened to our DNA. Like there was conscious manipulation of it, So, I mean, those are three pretty big arguments to me that strongly indicate that there was a designer. There was at least some design involved in the universe. Now we don't know till we die and see what happens if anything happens, right, Jacob? But like so I don't think. Now there are some religions that are just crazy. You know what I mean? Like was it what? And I'm not disparaging people's right to have their religion, but some of those, like, there's nothing in Judaism, Christianity, or most of Islam that conflicts with science, right? Same thing with Buddhism. There's nothing in most of Buddhism that conflicts with science. Like when I say science, I don't mean like atheistic, like religion is wrong science. I just mean objective analysis of the universe science. You know what I mean there? And so. But then, and then there are some religions that have some crazy stuff. Like, as much as I respect my I'm a 2% Viking, so I can claim Norse ancestry. Much as I respect my Viking ancestors, I don't think Odin actually created the universe from the frost giant Ymir's corpse. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. So it seems to conflict with objective analysis of reality. So
or Crow's flying around, dragging their wingtips and making rivers and
Yeah, like I said, but I respect my Norse ancestors and I enjoy Norse mythology. And I respect the modern Norse who practice the ancient Norse religion. There's apparently 500,000 of those people
yeah.
out there still. But that being said, so I have no real back to this planet and what we're discussing. I don't think there's any real conflict between, now again, and we both know there's insane, like what are those people called, the ones who protest like soldiers, graves.
Oh,
It's this real small church, I think, in Tennessee or something like that. And they
yeah,
go to
the
soldiers' graves and protest and say vile things.
Westboro Baptist
Maybe,
Church or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
They're like
I
really
mean, they're vile
off
human
the
beings.
rocker.
I mean, and I respect the right to have their religion, but I don't think they get Christianity if they're doing that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, and that all being said, like I said, I don't see a great conflict between Christianity and science. I think there are some misinterpretations of the Bible when people read certain things, you know, like what's to get away from science part of it. I remember the whole thing about Onan spilling his seed, and like there's some wackos who are like that's anti-masturbation. Actually, no. If you read it, that's because Onan refused to impregnate his dead brother's wife to give his brother a child because the child wouldn't be his. Which in ancient Judaism, if your brother dies before he gives his wife a child, you must take her as a second wife. So and his children will be your children will be his children, and will receive his properties and be his heir, so to speak. Right? That's God's law in Judaism.
Right.
And
Uh-huh.
that was about Onan's bill. He spilled the seed on the ground rather than pray his wife because the child under the law and God would not be considered his child. So. But so that's part of a misinterpretation of the Bible, is what I'm saying there. And I think I don't know, but just to circle back to the sort of the distinctions and all that. That's kind of why finding these planets that are like knocking stuff around the Oort cloud, and there's a lot of cool stuff about this, like the periodic mass extinctions, if it's real. There's a lot of hypotheses out there that but finding this planet, it's a trans-Newtonian object. Let's just finish this article up. I need no one in the chat yet. Okay, good. I didn't advertise it. I should have. I keep forgetting to do this, to share it out.
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, thanks,
Advertise.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back over here. Share this tab. Okay, so make sure Pluto doesn't read this. Okay, but don't charge these people. The possible new planet is so far away from the sun that researchers speculate it could take this planet between 10,000 and 20,000 years to make one full orbit around the sun. It's in the Oort cloud, basically. Since its discovery by astronomer Clyde Tombaugh in 1930, Pluto was considered a planet for 17 years until it was redefined as a dwarf planet in 2006 by the International Astronomical Union. Now, I think what they should have done was create something called a historical planet and left Pluto as a historical planet. That would have been my solution to that. But separate,
Yeah.
What else? In 2014, astronomers began collecting information of abnormal orbits of various outer solar system bodies called extreme trans-Neptunian objects, TINOs. That's TNO, but I want to say TINO, which is considered to be a minor planet in the solar. Any minor planet solar system that orbits the sun at a greater average distance than Neptune. Okay. Following discovery of several TNOs and their bizarre orbits, researchers began to hypothesize the possibility of an unknown large planet in our solar system. By January 2016, Caltech astronomers Konstantin Batyin and Mike Brown unveiled their extensive research. Okay, good. Using detailed mathematical modeling simulations, Batyin and Brown predicted the existence of Planet X without the benefit of direct observation. Okay. Planet X would be about 10 times the size of Earth, which would make it the biggest, if it's solid, make it the biggest solid planet in the solar system, meaning doesn't have a surface of gas and liquid like the gas giants do. Okay. So basically, there's a lot of technical details in here, which I'll leave for people to check out. But the gist of it is they have to now, they've done calculations to say that there's something like that possibly disturbing it. So now they have to do a visual observation, see if they can find it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. However, once constitution of the Vera C. Rubin Observatory in Chile is completed in 2025, they will soon have the ability to scan this entire southern sky every 4 days with the largest camera ever built, which boasts a mind-boggling 3,200 megapixel capability. That's 3
Wow.
gigapixels. Dang.
Yeah.
Coming in over 6,000 pounds, the Legacy Survey of Space and Time camera is even listed in the Guinness Book of World Records. So that's pretty fascinating. This is the best evidence for an extra planet. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So let's change topics to the thing that premiered 2 days ago. So Rings of Prime season 2 came out, and I'll have my I'm gonna do my standard sort of like short review plus lore video for each episode sometime over the weekend. So I'll do I'm not going into details about complaints about that now. But the interesting thing here I've noticed is a lot of the industry, just how they're going after the Acolyte and Star Wars failures, it's going after Rings of Prime's failure as a failure. And I have a hypothesis, Jacob. I think they're doing this because they want to provide cover for the woke stuff and say the review here is not blaming like evil far right people or whatever. I think they're going to say that the shows failed and by other means, not by the woke, and they failed. Like the woke message was good, but the show failed the woke message. I think that's what they're trying to build towards. Like saying that it wasn't the wokeism that caused this, because there's bad writing and stuff. They're going to try to contend that had the show been better with the writing and all that the woke would have been okay and would have been great. I think that's what they're trying to build towards with these sort of articles. Which is more making excuses. Yeah. We talked about this on Rowan's show last night. The original Crow director can't help but laugh at the new film's failure. And basically, and not to be elated. I think we all agree that if they were going to do a Crow movie, they should have picked one of the other like 15 stories and just did it. But
yeah.
It doesn't even look like something that fits in the Crow just from the stills.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I can't really describe what it looks like. I mean,
it looks
if
like
you just showed me stills from it and asked me what do you think this movie is, I couldn't tell you. It looks like some crazy guy.
This looks like a zombie movie where he's being taken over by some sort of like zombie plague.
Yeah.
And this was like something from like a horror, like a gore horror movie type of movie.
Yeah.
$50 billion budget. Let's take a look at the box office real quick. I meant to go with the numbers. Weekly chart. Yeah, The Crow opened at like $6 million. It couldn't even double Inside Out, which has been out for like what 2 months now.
Gosh, that's crazy.
I feel bad for Alien Romulus. It came out at the wrong time. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's good or not, but it just feels like it came out at the wrong time. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine what's our worldwide total here? 1.2 billion. And then Inside Out, almost 1.7 billion. And then Despicable Me, almost $1 billion. I know those are the 3 big ones. Twisters might have had some bank. But Twisters, it did make bank, but nothing like those 3.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that busted 500 million this year? I don't think
know.
so. I don't think so.
Huh.
Yeah. So, The Crow is that's just a complete waste of time movie.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this? I think we talked about this a while back. The Terminator anime, Jacob. Maybe 2 months ago.
I just watched the first episode.
How was it?
Of it. It's pretty. It's. I mean, it's usually give it like 3 episodes, say, but it's not bad so far.
Well, I like if you see who did it, Ghost in the Shell, and
the animation is great.
Yeah.
I love the animation. It's in Japanese, so you got to read it.
Yeah, I'll acquire it in a bit. But who the people who did Ghost in the Shell and Blood of the Life Vampire, which we talked about, did it. So that was impressive. My only concern was that, but again, it's an actual anime done by Japanese, so it's highly unlikely to be woke. You know, so I would probably watch it. At least watch a couple of it and see how it is. You know.
Yeah.
Do we have any? Is there any image? Oh, we did it.
The Terminators. The Terminators don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't know. Like, you remember? Let's just go with the first 3 movies as a concept, right? Leaving out all the sequels and like my understanding. I was okay with the T-800s and all looking like Arnold. You know. I know they changed it later, so they gave them other skins or whatever. You know. But I like the idea of each Terminator model looking like one person, you know.
Yeah. There's a female version of the Terminators for infiltrators.
Did you they must have been inspired by did you ever watch Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles?
I've tried.
Well, the first season
maybe they get better.
Well, the first season was when you watched the whole plot was really good. And the Cameron, the Terminator, Sarah. There you go. There you go. So Lena Headey is Sarah Connor, but so Summer God played Cameron, and she was a T. Was she a T8? So the bad Terminator was a T850, if I remember correctly. T80. No, he was a T88. Cromartie. He was a T88. Okay. Trying to remember what. But Cameron was an infiltrator model. Season. Cromartie, Cameron.
It's the scene where it shows the Terminator getting sent back in time.
In anime,
they actually make it. They show it being made, and then the skin put on it, and then they send it through a corridor, and it's like different Terminators with different skins as their as their like infiltrators, and it leads into the time machine room. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
It's a cool scene.
Yeah, so I will probably I will check it out. I mean, put it on my list of a billion things to watch, right? You know, but what was I going to say? Okay, so the concept of I'm saying, the concept of Cameron was an infiltrator type of Terminator. That's all. I'm wondering if they were sort of inspired by that, because in the fandom, this show, at least the first season, is well liked. You know, the second season, especially the ending of it, has some stupidity to it. But anyway, so I will check it out. Now you give me reassurances there, Jacob. Now, why did
it's just the first episode, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. I opened up. Oh, okay. So we'll do this last. Just so we can close that. Okay, so that's that. That's that. Okay. So my last sort of thing was I was going to talk about the Winter Sun album, just to promote but do you have anything you want to talk about, Jacob?
No, just that was one of them. Terminator series is one. I am listening to the audiobook Wolfen. The Wolfen.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty good.
How far are you? How far in are you?
It's about an hour into it, but it's read by Roddy McDowell.
Oh yeah, it's a great Roddy McDowell. Yeah. Oh, so we gotta do a filmography. We'll do that in a minute. We should do Roddy McDowell's filmography one of these weeks. Man, what a great actor.
Yeah.
Cornelius and Planet of the Apes. That's how I'll remember for that. But so the Wolfen. So okay, so in terms of the plot, because I was going to talk about, but I don't want to spoil like if Jacob's only up to like the first 10 chapters or whatever, Have you gotten to the point where you can see some of the points I was trying to raise?
Yeah, a little bit. There's no Indian stuff in it, which I'm glad. That was not good.
That's a horrible.
But yeah, I love it. You get the point of view of the Wolfen.
Yeah, I was really.
I love that's crazy. That's really good.
Because they're basically almost human level of sapiens. You know what I mean? They're intelligent, and because they evolved to hunt humans, basically. So. So anyway, we can talk more about it next week if you finish it. So I was gonna do. So let's do. My favorite band is Winter Sun. So let's just talk about that. And I will share some of the album artwork that they gave me I'll tell you my mega download. So Winter Sun is a band that formed, but Yari and another guy, out of another band. That like Winter Sun is a Finnish like symphonic progressive metal band, and they formed out of a more like speed oriented metal band. And their music is just epic. Like it is insanely overproduced in a good way. Like there's like 200 tracks type of thing, and he spends years making the albums because it takes that long because he does it all himself basically, right? And
oh wow,
yeah, Jari does it all himself. And in fact, he did the GoFundMe, the Indiegogo, and I think he raised $500,000 because he wanted to build a better studio to finish work on the music, So, yeah, and obviously I can't play any of it because of the copyright, but I can show off some of the artwork, which gives you the level of complexity of what we're dealing with here. So let's stop that screen. And so I will share some artwork from Time 1, right, from the booklet in Time. So what happened is because I got the Indiegogo, I got wave format, like uncompressed, the highest. Basically, that's the format they record the tracks in the studio. You know what I mean? They're giving me a direct copy of the studio tracks, so I get. Plus, they'll give me a separate folder. So I'll show off what I got in a second. First, let me show some of the artwork to give you an idea of the artwork is as comparable to the music.
Okay.
So this is the artwork that was with Time 1, which is the album that came out about 15 years ago. That's the band. This is what if you buy the physical album, you get a printout of this. Love. Yeah. The lyrics of Sunderville. What an epic song! I wish I could just play some of it, man, for you guys. Land of Snow and Sorrow. And Darkness of the Time. The actual song "Time" is incredible. It's probably my favorite song now. It's I don't know what type of music it is, but it's like a 15-minute intro. Not a 5-minute intro, sorry.
Wow.
5-minute intro.
15-minute? Wow.
No, 5-minute. 5-minute, yeah. And this is what I got on the download. So share screen, window. I think this will show. Yeah, okay. So the download came with all of this, right? Which is about 40 gigabyte, 10, 20, 30 gigabytes of stuff. They gave me all the original Winter Sun albums. So I got Time 1 and Time 2. Time 2 is the new one. Legendary Demos, which is 3 albums in and of itself, right? Uh, then the Far Seasons, which was another album, and then I got there's extras, which are a bunch of image files. What's the matter? Let's extract. We can look at those, I guess. Extract. Close. Promo photos. Time. The cover. AK. They did. Wow. Oh, they gave wallpaper. So cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I gotta open it and share it that way, I guess. Wow. Stop screen, present. Oh, slides. Okay, slides. No, I would have to make it. Share screen. Window. Like this is one of the images they gave that came. Look how beautiful that artwork is.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. I haven't had time to go through it all. I have the new album up that is ready for me to listen to, so to speak. But that's about it. So
the
rest.
The album name is Time. Is that what you?
The album is Time 2.
Okay.
You should be able to listen.
Jacob,
you have access. Well, no, you should have access to it on my thing.
YouTube. They've got it on YouTube. I'm just looking at it right now.
Oh yeah, something's going to be on YouTube. What did they put out so far? Winter Sun Yari,
because it's just showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
I think their songs are long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like for example, Death and the Healing is short, and it's a short song for them. It's 7 minutes. Like you get what you pay for from them. You know what I mean? You get what you pay for.
Cool.
And so anyway, so that's advertising for that. I'm not going to do a read today because my voice is kind of going. It hurts. My throat hurts for some reason, Jacob. So we only have 3 little golden mugs left. So we'll save that for next week. I actually have to post 2 of them because I still have to edit those videos to get the chunk out of it. But yeah, thank God I have a 4-day weekend so I can catch up on my videos and stuff. But what else? So I wonder. Oh, the filmography. Let's go over. Who was it again, Jacob? My brain just faded.
Sam Raimi.
Okay. Get rid of these extra windows. Okay. Actually, I want to blank my camera and I need to mute for about 1 minute to adjust my seat. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. How to adjust this? Yeah. Well, my disability, I have to get up and stretch something out once in a while and adjust for it.
Yeah.
So Sam Raimi. I guess we'll start with the Wikipedia. Here we go.
Man, there's a lot more movies that I've seen of his than I thought.
Yeah. So he has a TV, he has television, he has multiple, like producer, executive producer, TV, acting. He even acts. Okay. So let's just go with the what we think of a Sam film with the films. So I didn't see his amateur movie. I've seen Evil Dead. I think I saw Crime Wave, but I don't remember it. It was back then. I was Evil Dead 2 I saw. I didn't see Easy Wheels. I saw Darkman. Actually, Darkman was how I discovered him, and then I went and found Evil Dead 1 and 2, and I think Crime Wave, like in the video store. And then so see the Nut House here, credits Alan Smithy Jr. When a director puts that on there, he's taking his name off the film. He's disowning the movie. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, Army of Darkness, Hudsucker Proxy, his second film on that. The Quick and the Dead, Simple Plan. Do I remember
Hard Target?
Hard Target. Was he on Hard Target?
Yeah. That's what it showed. Maybe
it's not on this list. Maybe he's done a producer only.
Yeah, I've got the wrong thing pulled up.
Yeah. So The Gift. I remember The Gift. I think I liked that. Yeah, I like that. The Gift. Yeah. And then Spider-Man 1 and 2, which to me is a best. I still enjoy Spider-Man 2. I think to me is my favorite of all the Spider-Man movies so far. All of them.
Yeah.
Drag Me to Hell was great. And then I remember watching this. I thought I liked it, but I don't not enough to watch it again. And I didn't watch this because it was in the woke era.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that either.
So film, I mean, his films are obviously recommended: Evil Dead 1 and 2, plus Army of Darkness, Darkman, Quick and the Dead's pretty good. Not a great Western, it's a pretty good movie. The Love of the Game, The Gift. Certainly the first two Spider-Man films, but you can do all three of them. The third one's okay. The first two are great. And Drag Me to Hell. Though that's like 10 films. That's a solid weekend for you. People will enjoy themselves with, right? Anything?
Yeah.
Any other films in there you would recommend there?
No. It's been a while since I've seen Darkman.
Yeah. I love Darkman. And then we go to his producer only stuff. Time Cop, the American Grudge. This is a weird thing. So this is a time period from like I want to say 2000 on where they were remaking Japanese horror films. The big one was Ring, like Ringu became Ring, and Ring 2 and all that, and then The Grudge. The American version of The Ring and The Grudge were actually pretty good movies. So,
yeah. I'm not a big horror fan, but I did see The Grudge, the first one. I used to have a friend that was a big horror fan. So
yeah. I mean, and like Grudge is a standard for a Japanese horror film. So like, meaning it's like I've watched a lot of them, so it was a really good one, but the plot was like the same. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't an outstanding plot. The Ring was the interesting one because spoilers for the 20-year-old movie or whatever, but in the Japanese one, there's a meta story to it because there's multiple Japanese and Korean films set in the Ring universe, right? And depending on how much of the meta story you accept as part of the core canon, Sadako, which is the Japanese name of the girl, she was trying to find a new body, okay? And she was evil, right? That's kind of the spoiler for it. But in the Japanese one, are you clicking something, Jacob?
No. Huh?
Oh. In the Japanese, that was Jacob thwacking raccoons with a baseball bat, guys.
Yes, that's
anyway,
what it was.
Yeah. In the Japanese one, like you know how the saying "you watch a train wreck coming," type of thing.
Yeah.
The audience saw what was coming, even if the characters didn't. Right? Like the little kid was warning them, "No, she's bad. She's bad. Don't help her." But they didn't listen. And bad stuff happened. Right? Where in the American version, they made the interesting thing to downplay the little kid warning them, so you didn't know she was bad until the end.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really fascinating twist, and both of them are good. Like the Japanese one's a little better, but but it has original bias. You know what I mean? But it's a really cool story, the concept of it. You know. 30 Days of Night. That's a vampire movie. It's in the comic book. Movie was okay. So
Yeah.
he produced some good stuff too. You know.
Yeah.
The Possession. I remember that. That was okay. I didn't like Crawl.
Giant
Apparently,
crocodile movie.
yeah. I watched. I just didn't like it. Apparently another version of The Grudge or something. I saw this. Thought that was okay. So he's produced a bunch of good stuff. Obviously, he's produced Hard Target, like you mentioned. That's a John Woo film. That's pretty good. The sequel, the Darkman sequels, um, they were okay. Like I mean, like if I were to watch Darkman and you don't have to watch any of the sequels, but if you like the character, the sequels are okay. You know. And then obviously the Hercules, he basically did the Hercules and Dina shows. You know. So
What is
and
Darkman a
Rise.
comic book?
There was a comic book adaptation of it, but I don't think it itself. Let's find out. Yeah. Merchants of comic books here. Yeah, Marvel did the. I have that. I have that actually.
Okay.
And Dark Universe Army of Darkness was in 2016. But what was I? Oh, Rise Blood Hunter was okay, and this Evil Dead Rise was bad. It was just bad. You know, they wokeified it. The people panned the Evil Dead sort of sequel remake in 2014 or so, but that one actually, especially once it got to the final act, was really good. This wasn't great, you know. There's just short films and the TV shows. This is underrated. Mantis, I've enjoyed that. I enjoyed that TV show. Xena, obviously. Spy Game. He was involved in Legend of the
Now,
Seeker.
what was Mantis?
Oh, Mantis was a superhero TV show about a disabled guy. He's quadriplegic or whatever, and he invents a suit of power armor to become a superhero in a city that's like as bad as Gotham City. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this TV show, Ash vs. Evil Dead, the first season is pure gold.
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Seasons 2 and 3 are good, but the first season is gold. You know. The Hercules TV show started with these Hercules movies, right, which were better than the show. This show here, one season, this is one of my top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. And one of my favorite TV characters, Sheriff Lucas Buck, is in that show. Played by Gary Cole. It's called American Gothic. There was another TV show later called American Gothic. This is a kind of like a supernatural Southern horror show, but not like gory supernatural type. More like allusion to biblical stuff type of supernatural. You know, so. But I love it. I would. It was kind of canceled because of budget reasons, not because of ratings. You know, Hercules. That was a first couple seasons. Hercules was great. You know, I never. Young Hercules was okay. Jack of all trades was of course, another Bruce Campbell show, which is okay. And I never, other than the fan service elements of this.
I saw the Young Hercules poster. I was like, it's a Ken doll.
Yeah. Cleopatra 2525 is, other than the fan service, it was a fun fan service sci-fi show. Is the best way to put it. You know. And then
is that Zoe from Fire or
yes,
Firefly?
Yes. Yep. That's Gina Torres, who was miscast in Rings of Power as Tamriel. Victoria Pratt, Jennifer Sky. Yeah. You find a lot of actors get their starts in these syndicated shows,
Mm-hmm.
and they play really weird roles. And of course, he was involved with the Spartacus TV show, and he actually acted too. Sam Raimi is great, in almost everything he did. He has a walk-on role in a lot of ways. So that's a Sam Raimi. That's pretty. His work is worth checking out. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
What else? What else? I think we've because we're not going to do the book of my allergies are killing me. My throat today, Jacob. I feel my throat feels like there's sandpaper in it. So I don't want. I don't want to talk to you.
Allergies is really been bad this year everywhere.
Oh yeah, I was talking with my coworker, the one who reminded me that Monday was a holiday, and she's like, "Matt, I feel my allergies about to blow up my eyes."
I'm looking out my window on the outside, a spider web with a scorpion in it, a dead scorpion. It looks like a face hugger.
Is there some giant spider ate it?
Yeah.
One of those giant Texas alien invader spiders.
Yes.
Oh, see if I could find it. They were giant spiders invade the U.S. East Coast. Yeah. There we go. So, yeah. Joro spiders invading the U.S. East.
Have you heard about the giant venomous spiders that might soon be ballooning into a city near you? Joro spiders hail from Japan. They were first sighted in the U.S. state of Georgia over a decade ago. Now they range from Georgia up to Maryland. Experts expect they'll eventually spread up and down the eastern seaboard. A 2024 study showed Joro spiders can live in cities, so their entry into the big cities in the northeastern U.S. is a matter of when, not if. These spiders can grow up to 3 inches in length. They don't technically fly, but they do parachute through the air on spider silk, in a tactic scientists call ballooning. Here's the good news. The spiders are venomous, but not dangerous to humans. Plus, they're big scaredy cats. When disturbed, they can freeze in place for up to an hour. And Joro spiders can eat insects that damage crops. So, all in all, the invasion of Joro spiders isn't something you should be too worried about. And that's easy for me to say because I don't live on the East Coast.
Yeah. So that they're fine until they eat the toxic waste we have and become like 2-foot long spiders,
Yeah, right.
Thankfully, they're freezing in place.
I have heard giant Asian hornets we have here.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody.
Yep.
That's great. Like an 1.5 inch long hornet.
Yeah, that's giant. Huge. There's a lot of invasive species, man. You guys have the hogs down there, like overrun by hogs. We're not sure what's going to kill you guys first: the hogs, or the pythons, or the killer bees,
or the nutria.
Yeah. Actually, you might, if you live long, Jacob, you might see some of Carlos Escobar's hippos eventually.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Dave. For those who don't know, he was a drug dealer who wanted a zoo, so he got some hippos from Africa, right? And it turns out the rainforest is the perfect environment for hippos because nothing there is a natural predator. I mean, very little in Africa is a natural predator for hippo, right? But nothing in the Amazon is a natural predator for hippo. And after they took him down, they left his hippos in the zoo, and they bred and escaped into the wild. So they claim, and then when they were going to kill them off, the environmentalists were like, no, you can't kill the hippos. And so now they've been trying to find a way to sterilize them so they die off on their own. But they keep finding hippos further and further away in the Amazon.
Oh, no.
No. Now, hippos are giant pigs.
They'll migrate up to Florida and Louisiana.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they're giant pigs. In the same way you're getting invaded by giant wild pigs, hogs, you'll
giant.
You will eventually get hippos.
Yeah, and they'll adapt and become land dwelling.
Yeah. The only saving grace is that
the world.
Yeah, they'll play Hungry Hippo with people like live.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The only saving grace is we have bears and moose in North America, so which could kill them.
Instead of wolfin, we'll get hippoin.
The hippoin, gone. Some dude's walking down the street. You see like a hippo mouth reach out, gone. Where'd Jim go? It's like
I don't know.
like
that's another thing about the wolfin. They're like lightning fast.
Yeah, I was trying to allude to that without saying it. Like I said, like they're too fast to humans to react to, in a short span of distance. So
yeah. And the way they lure people into it goes through like the thinking of the pack leader. Like, okay, how do we separate these two? It's like, oh, I'll just make it sound like a human baby. It's pretty. It's really cool how they do that.
Yeah, hunting calls.
Yeah.
So, but we'll talk more about it when you finish it. So hopefully next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's some definitely cool stuff you're heading towards.
I'll probably finish it today.
Yeah. Okay, so we did the film review. We did articles. Talked about Winter Sun. What you got coming up, Jacob?
Later this evening, I'll be on Potato Raven's channel talking In the Heat of the Night series. I think the first 2 episodes. Tuesday, I'll be going over, let me see here, the X-Files episodes, I think 14 and 15. So I think 14 is Genderbender, if you remember that episode. Weird episode.
Yeah.
But then there's the next one is Lazarus, which is a good episode. That's a really good episode.
Yeah.
Of course, I'll be on Roman's show. And then back here next week.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And this week we reviewed, like you talked about, Awakenings on Jacob's show. And last week we did The Untouchables.
Right.
So, there you go. I'll be obviously on Wednesday. I was overbooked on this Wednesday coming up, which is what we're talking about. Wrestling show. We'll be giving our team's post-match and post-analysis of WWE's Bash in Berlin. I will obviously next week Friday Fandemonium, and next week on Roman, I think we're doing Forbidden Planet, which is a great movie. I have a whole bunch of videos that dropped this week. And now right after this show, since we're going to end it a little early, I'm going to go live again for 10 minutes or less just to give my predictions for WWE's Bash in Berlin. It's only 5 matches, so it should be fast. And then later, when my voice recovers a little, I'm going to record my review of AEW's All-In pay-per-view. I've been putting that off just because I had to catch up with other stuff. And then I got maybe tonight or tomorrow, I separate out those 2 videos for the 2 little golden books from the last 2 weeks. Post those up, and that should be caught up on videos. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's this week's Friday Fandemonium.
Oh yeah. Hopefully not this week, but the 7th of next Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll be starting the game night, the D&D game.
Oh yeah, I joined that guy's Discord. I gotta go look around and see maybe roll if we're gonna roll characters or whatever. Why is his channel not showing up in my Discord on Linux? It is showing up on the phone. Weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. Maybe I gotta reload it or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Okay, I think that's it. So we will talk to you all have a good holiday weekend for you Americans out there.
Yep.
Remember, it's a holiday weekend. And talk to you all in a couple days.
Bye, everybody.